I'd like to call to order the special meeting of the Broome County Industrial Development Agency of September 25th, 2025. And we open our agenda with a public comment session. Anybody wishing to speak on any matter concerning the IDA, please state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 5 minutes if you will. We'll call this public comment section to a close. Casey, yes?
Yeah.
You're okay. Item number 3 on the agenda is a resolution accepting an application from V Binghamton LLC or an entity to be named at a later date, the company, or a leaseback transaction to facilitate the financing of the acquisition, rehabilitation, preservation, and equipping of the properties and buildings located at 380 Shenango Street and 13 Pern Street, both in the city of Binghamton, Broome County, New York, to provide for a sales and use tax exemption benefit in an amount not to exceed $3,256,604, to provide for a mortgage recording tax benefit in an amount not to exceed $541,077, to provide for a real property tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $10,842,402, deviating from the agency's uniform tax exemption policy and authorizing the agency to set and conduct a public hearing with respect thereto. Stacy, I'll turn it over to you, please.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming in early this morning. So essentially, we are starting the process over with regard to the Town and Country project in the city of Binghamton. We had previously approved pilot and sales tax benefits for this project under a different ownership group. Just as a reminder, this project has been awarded the competitive 9% tax credit. So they have already been awarded by New York State Homes and Community Renewal. And it is actually, and I'll have the mayor and Aaron Greenblatt with the project correct anything I might be misstating, but it's my understanding that it is the desire of the state to close on this project as quickly as possible. And also, they were also part of the impetus in bringing on the new ownership group. There is also an increase in project costs of approximately $10 million related to this project. If you're familiar with the property, has a significant amount of need, which is probably an understatement to redevelop and renovate these properties for livable use. In addition, the pilot benefit has increased by approximately $600,000. You do have a new project review form cost benefit analysis in your packet, but real briefly, just as a refresher, the project consists of the rehabilitation and preservation of 22 3-story brick garden apartments called the Town and Country Apartments, located at 380 Shenango Street and 13 Pern Street in the city of Binghamton's north side. The preservation of these existing units has been identified as a high priority for the city. So it's great to have Mayor Cram here, and I'm sure has some comments as well. The city has approved $3 million in American Rescue Plan or ARPA funding for the project, identifying it as a priority need for affordable housing. The project will preserve 256 units of affordable housing in need of substantial rehabilitation. 98 of the 256 are restricted by a HAP contract, which I will let Aaron discuss if the board has questions on that. While the remaining 159 are leased to low and moderate income households, restricted to households earning less than 60% of area median income. With that, the process today would be to accept the application to induce a public hearing, and then most likely close in or consider it again, at our October meeting. So with that, I don't know if anybody has questions for me or Aaron or the mayor.
Mayor, would you like to say anything?
Sure. This is a priority project. We were working for many years with an entity that had a process in place with HCR. It became very clear that HCR was not going to allow that entity to move forward with their project. They could not meet some HCR requirements. And so HCR, knowing that it was a very priority project for the city, the history of this property probably the most troubled in Broome County as it relates to a crime standpoint. Nearly half the apartments are vacant. We're dealing with, significant code violations that thankfully Vesta, the new entity, has come in and been very responsive to. So, the city in partnership with HCR, we really needed a new group to come in and kind of close this deal. Vesta stepped up. They have a track record in that area. And, we're very, excited to get this project closed. As Stacy mentioned, we're investing $3 million in American Rescue Plan Act funds to support affordable housing. It's our single largest allocation there. And the Vesta team has been great in dealing with them, getting what they need in. And I view this again as there was an entity that was moving the ball down the field, became very clear that they could not deliver and actually get the project closed. HCR is a driving force in all of this. None of this happens without their blessing. And as Stacy mentioned, they have approved and voted to accept this application as part of tax credit finance. So that is the biggest step in this. And it was really important to me and certainly to the state too, given the needs in that neighborhood, to get a firm on board that could complete this job and do it right. And also meet the deadline for getting that ARPA allocated and under contract before the end of the year.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Aaron, would you like to add anything?
Thank you very much. Really appreciate everyone's time in calling this special meeting. I can give you a background on Vesta if you want. Is that something that would be helpful?
That would be great.
Great, thank you.
Sure. So I'm an executive vice president of Vesta Corporation, joined here today with Sarah Ledbetter, who is our construction manager, who oversees all of our active development. And also Josh Greenblatt, another executive vice president who happens to be my brother, is also listening in as well. Vesta has been around since 1981. It was formed by my father and his business partner. And we specialize in multifamily affordable housing. We are long-term owners, developers, and we also manage our own properties. We have a portfolio of right now about 55 properties scattered throughout 6 states plus the District of Columbia. This is really what we do. We do a lot of rehab projects, large scale rehab projects. And as I said, we are the kind of developer that we acquire properties and we develop them and we stand by them for the long term. It's not our business model to develop something and flip it. We have several properties in our portfolio that have been in our portfolio for 30 plus years. So we were approached in I think it was early July about this project. Again, we have experience with New York State closing deals in New York State, and there's a common investor with this property who had partnered with the prior developer. Again, as the mayor mentioned, the developer had some issues and couldn't get this project done. So we were approached just a couple of months ago, introduced to this project, and told that of the short turnaround time, the need at the property, and that the state and the city were behind it. And we were told that it needed to close in October. At first, we were pretty skeptical of our ability to step in on such short notice and get this project done. But again, we committed to taking a look at it. We sent our operations team out to the property, really saw the physical condition. I think some of you discussed this, or I don't know if everyone is aware of it. We were not aware of it until we stepped foot on the property, the dire state of the condition, again, the code violations and everything that really needed some help here. So we made a commitment to try our best to get this over the finish line. We committed a lot of time and resources to doing that. And in late August, we did get the state's approval, the first committee approval, and then board approval. I believe it was just 2 weeks ago. from the state. We did take over management of the property, I believe, right after Labor Day, September 3rd. So we have been managing the property for the last 3 weeks, just trying to get a grasp of the conditions, the current residents. It is a lot of work, and it is difficult work, but we are committed to doing it. So I know, again, there was a previous development group that had a contractor in place. We typically, on a typical deal that Vesta gets involved in, from start until closing, we usually have at least 12 months to vet the plans and the architect and the contractor. This, is a really condensed time frame for us. So it was really important that we had a contractor that we knew had experience doing this. This is rehab projects like this are very specialized. These are older properties. Again, this is a large property, 256 total units. With the residents in place, we're planning on relocating residents to different areas of the property and doing the rehab while they're there. It's not all construction has its own issues and difficulties, but this particular kind of rehab is very nuanced, and we have experience working with Marus Brothers Construction. That's the general contractor that we approached. They just completed a project for us, similar size, actually bigger, in Washington, D.C., 360 units, a rehab project with residents in place. We've been working with them for since 2000. And it was very important for us with this short turnaround time, we really needed to have a contractor that we knew has done this before, and again, that we were comfortable with. And I think I can speak to the local outreach that they've done and the local subcontracts that they're anticipating for this project, if that's something that this agency wants me to go into further. But they are planning on using very extensive local labor. They have done projects in Binghamton before. I believe they did something at SUNY Binghamton. They did some housing there previously a few years ago. They're familiar with working in New York State, and they do plan on using extensive local labor on this project.
With that said, I'll open it up to questions. Is there a motion? Thank you, Elaine. Is there a second? Thank you, Mike. Any further discussion? Let's have a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Item number 4. Resolution authorizing an extension of the February 5th, 2021 sales and use tax exemption granted to Bluestone Wind LLC through and including December 31st, 2025, and authorizing an increase thereof in the amount of $130,000 for a total sales and use tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $8,937,628. Stacy?
Yes, this comes to us from the Bluestone Wind Farm project, the eastern part of the county, with regard to their request for additional sales tax exemption benefit for the purpose of the implementation of an ADLS lighting system, which is an aircraft detection lighting system. This also has the benefit of minimizing any visual impact of the project for the nearby residents. As required by federal law, all project turbines are equipped with dual flashing red lights to promote aircraft safety. These lights are activated at night and simultaneously flash even when aircrafts are not flying within the area of the project. The FAA approval was granted in April of this year and will allow 22 of the project's 26 turbines to keep warning lights powered off at night unless an aircraft enters the area. However, I'm going to let representatives from the company get into more of the details of these lights. However, my understanding is implementation of the ADLS involves installation of a radar tower in the center of the project, control system located at the project's operation and maintenance building, and upgrades to lighting wiring in each tower. So this is something that the company has decided to take on to, again, minimize any visual impact of the project. The total project cost previously, when we had previously approved this project, was over 215 million. This addition increases project cost and investment of the Bluestone Wind Farm to 217.5 million approximately. The value of this exemption is $130,000. It is over the $100,000 mark, so it will require public hearing before approval. But again, I do have representatives from Bluestone that can answer any more technical questions that I cannot.
Say that again, it requires a public hearing?
If the benefit is over $100,000, we'll need to do a public hearing.
So are we calling for one?
We will. Yeah,
Is that part of?
am I wrong?
It's not part of this
Yeah,
resolution.
we've already done a public hearing. This
We
is
don't
just-
need to do another?
No, we don't have to.
I'm mistaken. Thank you. Thank you,
That's why I
Natalie.
wasn't in, so I thought.
Yeah, no, we don't have to do it.
My apologies, yes. It was, yes, a lot of projects moving around here, so, all right, well, that's even better.
Thank you so much for even,
Yes.
for listening to us today. I would really appreciate it if you guys could grant us some extension. We are trying to do this for the benefit of the community, so the lights aren't flashing all the time, and right now they are at nighttime. So I think it would, really benefit the community, so they're not. And they are, an FAA requirement, and I really do think that, the community would be much happier.
When did the federal government start requiring it?
I'm not really sure when they actually started. It's happening on many different projects right now as an afterthought. It also depends sometimes whether or not you're in the SECRA or if you're Article 10, so there's different aspects to it. Whether or not you're grandfathered in, but this has thought would be a great opportunity for us to put this into the community.
You guys represent, sorry, John.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
You guys are representing,
North,
okay,
Northern
which is,
Northern Power,
The ownership
the
group.
owner.
okay, but it's not the company that's putting on this radar system. to
It will
do
be
that?
us doing it with our contractors, local
Okay.
contractors.
Okay.
Yes, we'll be using local contractors to do this and as much local materials as we can. It will require a foundation and a turbine or a tower to go in. And then we'll have to do some more, electrical upgrades to the turbines, and we'll have to go up and change out the lights that are actually on there now. That are the blinking lights, so there's about $2.5 million worth of work that's going to need to be done, and we're trying to get it done by the 15th of October. Before the snow hits.
Yeah, so these lights are up there and they flash all the time right
Yes, sir.
now, so that's boom,
At night,
boom,
yes, sir.
boom, boom.
But this will.
And these will be intermittent only when there's an aircraft in
Absolutely.
the area. Okay, I got it. I was wondering, I was trying to understand.
Yes, sir.
But there's 4 of them or so that you have to leave on, right?
No, those will be
Some-
left on, those won't even require them.
Oh, they don't even require
Those
the
will
lights.
not require them.
No lights at all?
No, they won't require them. Not every turbine out there requires lights,
No kidding,
on some projects. It just depends on the area that they're in.
really?
Because obviously where the aircraft is, if there's a turbine next to it, it doesn't need to have.
I was gonna say, you don't have aircraft in that area. Unless it's private.
Probably a radius, the
It's a radius.
FAA man
You are
Not
controls.
supposed to have aircraft. Yeah, right? Okay, but, okay. All right, yeah.
My point is, why wasn't this put in at the beginning?
So we were trying to get the FAA approval. So we didn't get it until April. So this started on.
How many years ago did the construction start though, and then?
2020, we approved in
2021.
21, I
Twenty
believe.
twenty-one, we put it in then.
We approved at the end of 2020.
Oh.
The December of 2020, it may have
For
been
the project
December
to start.
29th or
3.5
something.
years for the federal government
Yes, sir.
giving it okay, but you
The
know.
FAA, yeah.
Approve
Yes,
the
sir.
I
lights.
believe that. The FAA would
It is a
take
very,
that long.
process.
ADLS is a fairly new technology too. This is only my third project, but I'm installing it. So it's
Okay.
still in development and things, and it's just becoming the norm in the last few years.
Part of the, the safety benefit for the aircraft. What other benefit is there for the taxpayers here in Broome County?
Well, sir, I believe that the waste fund actually does contribute quite a bit of money to the local community.
How?
Well, through our pilot program. We
There's a
also-
host community agreement payment, that was negotiated as part of the project that's listed in here as providing 47 million over the project's lifetime. So that goes to the town of Windsor, town of Barker, both school districts,
Sanford,
Sanford,
and
the county.
The school district, all the school districts get quite a bit of. money.
Windsor, yeah.
And then I know that locally, right now that we're operating, we're also given to the local community itself. Which, we donate quite a bit of money throughout the project. I know, the veterans are benefiting, we give them quite a bit of money. We're just asked to give Skylake, a donation. So there is a lot of community involvement.
This is really to like benefit the people around there too, right? I mean, cause they see these lights all the time. So now
Absolutely.
they're not gonna be sitting in their living room watching this flashing light all the time,
Yeah.
only unless there's an airplane in there,
I get
right?
plenty of calls
Yeah,
for lights that people see at night when they're on their back porch and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. So
They're
I
asking me
mean,
when this tower's gonna be.
you know, these towers are in their backyard now, at least the lights
They
won't be
won't see the
flashing.
lights.
Okay, got it.
Any further questions? There a motion? Thank you, Elaine. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Just for the people there.
Thank you, Joe. Any further
That's
discussion?
all that time.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carried. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Thank you, Elaine. Is there a second? Thanks, Mike. All those in favor say aye. Hold on, I'm sorry.
Motion didn't carry.
What do you mean by that? It's 4-1.
It's, yeah.
We have a
Quorum.
quorum.
We have a
4-1,
quorum.
carried. As long as you have a quorum,
Okay.
it's the majority of the.
Sorry.
Hey, Joe,
Wow, we cannot have meetings at 8 AM.
you don't.
No 8 AM meeting.
You don't
We're not
need
awake yet.
unanimous, as long as there's 5
If
of
there's
us.
quorum of who's in attendance.
You had yours, 4-1.
It was 4-1.
Geez, 8 AM. is hard.
From this point forward, I think we're gonna have 8 o'clock meetings.
Keeps everybody on their toes. We're counting, we're doing, we're a little quieter. I know.
You can even do it earlier if you want.
Yeah.
So let me go back. We have a motion, a second to
Yes.
adjourn this meeting. Is
There we
everyone in
go.
favor of that?
Yeah.
Mayor, thanks for visiting.
Mayor, thank
Thank you very much for joining us.
Good luck.
Aaron,
Thank you
thank
very
you for
much.
your comments. We are.
Thank you very much.
It's awful.